Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Board of Directors
Recording in progress.
to order. Confirmation of proper notice.
Notice was posted on the 11th according to statutory requirements and for the budget purposes. Oh, I'm sorry. For statutory reasons. Easy for me to say.
Easy for you to say. What are you guys for lunch?
Everything was posted. Yeah, everything was posted on the 11th, and of course, for the budget purposes, the mailing went out more than 14 days. The statute requirements for all owners. So everything's in order.
Very good, thank you. Do we have a roll call?
Yes, you can. Ethel Finch, Cookie. Here. Roger Schultz.
Here.
I'm here. Shannon Young.
Here.
Steve Abul.
Here.
Dick Picola.
Here.
Denny Palmer.
Here.
George Fisher.
Here.
Monica Heigl. Here. Claire Dewhurst.
Here.
Tammy Alborn. Here. Tiffany Conklin. Nope. Barbara Carey. Nope. Deb Harder. Here. And John West.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Very good. Okay, I want to welcome everybody, especially some new owners if they're here or on Zoom, as well as our returning northern part-time residents. We survived Ian and Nicole in pretty good shape. We had what I would say minimal damage, but it's hard to call minimal $40,000 to $50,000, but it's a lot better than we had with Irma. We did save quite a bit of money because the guys did most of the tree removal. We called in a tree company for some large trees that were on buildings. But for the most part, our crew came in Thursday morning immediately after Ian and worked their butts off. Alongside John, myself, and a lot of residents were out there with us as well. Worked long hours on Thursday and Friday. A couple of guys came in Saturday in order to get the 6 out of our 7 pools open for that weekend immediately after the hurricane. Amazing what they did. They really should be remembered, especially when it comes to our Christmas bonus time. I think we have really, they came here first. They didn't take care of their own homes until probably Saturday afternoon or Sunday. They were here for those 2 days, long hours. And it just amazed me what was done by the end of Saturday. And once the tree companies got in, we've done very well getting back to normal really quickly. Unlike some of our neighbors, that we can still see by going down the boulevard. So yeah, when it comes to the Christmas bonus time, I would remember that. Nicole was basically a rainy, windy day to us after going through Ian. So I always wonder what my daughter up in North Carolina would say. Every time she'd get a hurricane in Wilmington, North Carolina, and she said, "Oh, this is a piece of cake, Dad." You know, now I know, when Nicole came through, it just was like a rainy day there. The budget committee worked hard on our budget this year. Probably most of you know we're going to probably have a maintenance fee increase, minimal is $43 to $48 depending on a month, depending on the size of your unit. Compared to our neighbors, Spring Lakes are going up $100 a month first year. Wildwood 2, one of the 3 Wildwood 2 communities, just got a $3,500 assessment, and their dues are going to $1,770 a month, a quarter. $1,770 a quarter, but I mean we're literally $250 to $300 less than our neighbors, so not a lot to complain about. And hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed that we have enough in the budget to cover whatever our insurance is going to go up to this February. So everybody keep your fingers crossed on that one. And that's all I got for now. Let's go on with the meeting. Review of the minutes from the last regular board meeting. Everybody read it? Any changes, or somebody want to make a nomination, a motion to approve?
Steve, I had a question.
Go.
Mike,
Mike,
oh, I'm sorry.
It's on.
It's already on, okay.
Up close.
On the last page of the minutes, it says that this meeting will be on Monday, November 21st, in the office or on Zoom. I mean, that's very minor, but I don't know if that needs to be corrected.
We'll make the change.
Yeah, it's very minor. And then I'll make a motion, everybody.
Okay, Dave makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Deb seconds. All in favor, or all opposed?
Where are the other?
All.
We're
Four.
ahead of you.
Oh, a favor?
In favor.
You can see the sale.
Everybody? Okay, that's good.
We do wave.
I was gonna go one way and then the other way. However. Okay,
Stream like that.
financial matters, treasurer's report. Mr. West.
Well, in looking at the financials this month, we have some variances in here. Most of them are being caused by some of the things that have happened. Prime example would be our assessment, which has increased the income, and some of the monies that we're holding in place for the insurance for the year for 2023. But in reality, we're all within our budgetary areas, and we have one beautiful area, that is in the utilities area, we're down about $18,000. So far in this year, we've spent approximately about $61,000 worth of reserves based on reserve savings that we've got for pavement and slab repair and machinery, etc. So that's in pretty good shape also. This budget, or I should say the insurance, has been quite a pain this year. We went from a budgeted number of $412,000 to a real number of $512,000. Now I'm giving you rounded off figures. And next year, it looks like we're going to go up to $635,000. Now, we will work towards getting rid of those things, but we have to budget for it. So far, the reserves and some of the things that we've done in the past have allowed us to eliminate some of these jerkiness that we've had, with the exception of this first assessment that we've made. Now, any questions on that? Because I have something else to talk about. My partner, Barb, Carey, and I have been looking at our reserves, and we see a nice flow of cash. We have reserves now somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.7 million, and we should applaud that. I guarantee you there's nobody within a 10-mile radius that has that type of reserves, and that's what's saving us all from a lot of ugly stuff. But to make a long story short, up until this year, there's been very little interest available on that because of the interest rates on accounts. But Barb and I have set in place and I will be making a motion here in a second, a plan where we will be investing on our reserves in a rolling ladder type of activity on with CDs, all FDIC approved, etc., etc. We've done some quick projections on this. We feel somewhere in 2023, we should have somewhere around $28,000 worth of interest coming in. But 2024, that should bump right up to $50,000 and maybe a little bit more. We're going to be watching this. We'll be playing it. We have a company called Edward Jones. Some of you probably know of them, but Merrill Lynch and a bunch of other ones have a computer program that's available to them that follows the interest rates on CDs, and they'll be doing the investments. So if I may, I'd like to make a motion today. We talked about this, by the way. Any questions? This is a project that is going to be ongoing. We're not going to be able to start this tomorrow. There's a lot of paperwork that has to be done with this. But we do feel that in 2023 we'll be making money, and in 2024 we will certainly be having a substantial increase in some of the income that we have. Now this will go back into reserves and allow us to replenish some of those particular areas. So I'd like to make a motion, if I may, Mr. President, and my motion is to approve an investment of the reserve funds in our financial instruments only backed by FDIC insurance for the purpose of maximizing our interest income. The amounts to be invested will be determined based on the cash flow commitments we have with our reserve fund. At the present time, we're looking at probably taking $1 million of the close to $2 million that we'll have at the end of this year and put those into this investment program. At the present time, we have a full year commitment of somewhere around $700,000. That'll leave us with $300,000 over and above that amount of money in the reserves that is not committed to anything. We will be doing 3, 6, 12, and a 24 month, and there'll be approximately $220,000 each. And so we're going to be watching this thing, but it's time to make some money. We maybe made $2,000 last year, but interest was at 0.05. So, but it's there now. It's somewhere between, let's see here, I have a number here, somewhere between 3.8 and 4.2 as of today. So, but the neat thing about it is having somebody watch this ongoing daily change of interest rates going to make it a positive for us for sure, and we will not be jeopardizing any of our funds. Any questions? I make that motion. Do I have any seconds?
I'll second.
Who's that? Who did?
Okay.
Roger?
You're going to do a roll call?
I am, but I'm going to need that.
You're going to have notice.
You got that one here.
I'm going to need the multi rule, remember?
Let me read it again, if you would.
Hold on a second. It's not FTX, right?
Dick, go ahead.
Yeah, John, just one question. The interest,
Yes.
the interest that we will gain in this account, will it have to go in the reserves, or can we put that interest into other needs?
I believe there will be some areas in the reserves which we have that are flexible for use on a short-term basis. Am I correct on that, John?
According to statute, the interest earned has to stay in the reserve account. However, the owners can vote to use other funds for it. In other words, so we can have a vote, say at the annual meeting, to give you some latitude to help where you may want to put it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Pam.
All right.
We will revisit this again as the ongoing goes on.
John, you gotta have a mic.
How to use the mic.
Sorry. We will revisit this again as this continuous process goes on. We don't know the exact, let's say, administrative process that's going to be in place, but this is the beginning of it. There's several things we have to do, and there'll be many, many safeguards in here so that we have a lot of signatures before things can change drastically.
Okay, Cookie Finch.
I guess accept,
Sorry.
accept the change, make the change.
Yeah. Roger Schultz.
Yes.
I agree. Shannon.
Yes.
What things over there? Steve.
Yes.
Dick Picola.
Yes?
Jenny Palmer.
Yes.
George Fisher.
Yes.
Monica Heigl.
Yes.
Claire Dewhurst.
Yes.
Tammy Alborn.
Yes.
Tiffany's not here. Barb's not here. Deb Harder.
Yes.
And John West.
Yes.
All right. It's unanimous for those of us who are here.
Okay, unanimous. That's passed.
Are we going over this again, or that's the permanent vote?
That's it.
That's it.
Cookie Finch. we will continue an ongoing process of the process of what we're doing right here, but that's the vote that we're going to do. The important part is that we will be looking for and putting our money into an investment program, all FDIC approved, and it will be an income-making process that we're doing.
I would like to hear how the business manager feels about that.
Into a microphone, please.
I think that John West and Barbara Carey deserve accolades for what they've come up with this program. It's going to be an excellent source of income that really helps better than any interest or raising prices for certain things. It's tremendous. So they are to be commended.
Here, here.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
Next up is accounts receivable.
Yes, as of the 31st, or actually the 11th of November, there are the usual somewhat slow pays that are on the list, that are not out of line, and we're usually all taken care of by the end of November, and I anticipate that to be the same. There are some additions in the legal, and I'd like to go over those. I think that they we should underline these, or at least note for the record. 364 is that unit, of course, that still hasn't been sold. It's been out for auction for several months now, and apparently there have been some contracts, but they've not gone to closing. They currently owe the association $13,558.96. The bank has had it for over 5 months. We're now moving to foreclose against the bank. The bank is fighting, saying they don't feel that they should have to pay all the arrearage. But according to state statutes, again, if when they foreclosed, they didn't name the association in the suit, then therefore they owe the entire amount of money that was owned by the prior owners. And they're fighting that, and they're not paying their current fees. So we're pushing them as hard as we can. Bank of America, like they really need the money. So we've got that issue going. Unfortunately, we also have 718 that is moving toward foreclosure, and they owe the association about $3,000, but with the attorney's fees and interest and everything like that, they really owe closer to $10,000. And I'm very sad to report that we've had to turn a couple other units over to the attorney for collection. This is the longest list we've probably had in 8 or 9 years. The people in 762 that paid us over $22,000 this year because they were late are now stopped paying their fees again. So they've been turned back to the attorney for collection. And we have 1, 2, 3 owners that still haven't paid any part of the assessment. That's 311, 463, and 345. All over the attorney for collection.
Okay, old business. Hurricane issues, Don?
We have, for some reason I don't have the manager's report with me. It's recorded by One second. I put a bunch of stuff up there, but I didn't get myself one. Okay. Tree clearing cost to date $19,900, and we have an invoice in front of us for the clearing. The clearing costs were $19,900. The dumping of the debris, which was 12 trailer loads of materials to be dumped, cost $15,840. As before, you have authorized this fund to be paid out of the reserves, the storm and tree reserve, and again, we don't necessarily write checks out of the reserve without board approval, and my recommendation would be to pay this final bill of $15,840 from the reserve. Secondarily, roof repairs have cost $2,400 to date. We've got one more bill coming in that will be about $600. The crew overtime was $1,790.65. I'm waiting, we've repaired the sidewalk that was heaved up in front of 509, 508 Lakeside, and that's been done, but again, the receipt has not been, the invoice hasn't been rendered, and again, we have a reserve for sidewalk replacement, and I would recommend that that also be, the board make that motion. The last two things that we, well, let me go on. The ceiling, there's still 3 carports where we have to fix the ceilings, which we're ordering the materials. We're going to try to get the vinyl this time instead of the hard metal that has a tendency to come off and damage cars and things of that nature. Courtyard fence repairs were done by staff. We had some 35 fences that were one shape or another. The material cost on that was $425. And finally, if and when we go and can find some of these funds that John and Barbara are getting us, maybe we can put stumps ground, because we've got about 12 or 14 major stumps throughout the property that should be ground to return the property to its better look. Questions? Motion, yeah, motion to pay from the reserve these particular items that I recommend.
Dick, you make a motion?
I second.
Shannon, second.
Gotta make the motion for that.
I believe the motion that Dick made was to use the reserve funds for the trees and to cover the cost of hauling away all of the tree debris and for fixing of the sidewalks.
Yes.
This doesn't need to be.
Does that include the roof repair?
Okay.
No.
All those agree, approve?
We had a discussion, we had a question.
I have a question.
You got a question?
I have a question regarding the debris that's on the Spring Lakes and the Wildwood 2 area. That looks like a fire hazard.
It is.
It looks traffic
Yeah, well, it's not just looks, it's.
We have contacted their management company and asked them what they intend to do about it, and they have not decided to respond.
Okay.
They said it's up to their board. I know, Steve, you have some contacts over there.
Yeah, they've said they've contracted somebody, but I don't think they've come up with the money yet, so.
They've actually been waiting for the county.
County.
I told them the county's not coming. They know that. Okay, on the motion, no vote?
Say any opposed.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so moved.
Thank you.
Second floor entry slabs.
Okay, thank you. Again, there had been no additional work done since the last meeting. Unfortunately, due to a scarcity of help, having an issue with the contractor, although they've done the work in a good workmanship-like basis, having trouble finding the help to come in and do it. I've gone out and reached out to a couple other contractors. One of the ones that seemed most interested is this company that I put a proposal in your packet, that they come out and the company that we have now does it on a time and material basis, and this is very close to their figures. They could commit 3 or 4 people to the job and maybe get it done a little quicker, and we could get a lot more done because we are doing it at half the rate we formerly did before. So I would like the board to consider me contracting with them for at least one, to see how it works, see how the pricing comes out. They're a very reputable contractor that could give us 3 or 4 people each time and do several at the same time. But I would also recommend that they would come and meet with the building committee. I mean, if the board agrees to this proposal, then bring them in, meet with the building committee, and then go from there.
We have no idea who that is.
Well, yeah, Maybe you would meet with them.
I'll beat him down.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a motion to do that, or?
Well, I would say that give us a chance to do one on a trial basis. If it doesn't work, sorry. If it doesn't work out, then we can search for somebody else, but I'm very confident in what they came out and how they handled it, and I took them around in depth, that they know what they're gonna do.
Okay. Can I have a motion for this?
I so move that we hire this company.
I move that we hire Hall Construction
Yes.
to try repairing our upper floor slabs, see how they work out.
I second that.
Second, okay. Anybody opposed? No? Okay, so now. Okay, John, you want to bring us up to date on 559?
Should I have to? No. This has been a long, involved situation, as everybody knows. Some of you who were new here maybe didn't realize that we found out that there were driveway termites in the unit, and to fully, the board, this is a long-going thing, we're about 7 months into it, I think, right now, but the board decided that we should take out the materials and see the cavity of the unit. When that happened, when we took the ceilings out, we found that the trusses were eaten with termite, and the roof was in potentially in very bad condition because of it. It could have been a collapse. The board, we've had a contractor. Okay, so now termite treatment went in. That was a cost of some $1,500, and they went right to the source. Then the whole ceiling roof area up in the cavity had to be painted to seal everything in and seal the termite treatment material in there. Rafters were sistered with other boards or other materials to again strengthen the roof, and all the drywall and the ceilings and the walls had to be replaced. That's all complete now. The board agreed they would have the unit painted. It's been painted. We had hoped that its final inspection from the county will be someday this week. I've just been made aware that the owner was in on the weekend and she criticized some of the work. We haven't done the final inspection yet, which is anticipated someday this week or certainly the beginning of next week when the county comes in. So it's a little premature, I think, for the criticism, but we will get it worked out and she should be able to move in the next 8 to 10 days, even though she's moving in as we speak. We're going to have it behind us, I promise you.
Someday.
Yeah, okay, yeah, just as Dick's asked, did we check units on either side and throughout the building, and we did that also to make sure there was no migration of issues. We opened up ceilings in adjacent units and checked the trusses and everything, so it's okay.
John, are we within our budget that we set?
Microphone.
Did we stay within the budget that we tentatively set in place for that?
As I recall, we thought it would be some $17,000 to $19,000, and we're going to be somewhere in that area. I hope. No, seriously, it could go up to the $20,000 fee.
Okay, that'll be nice to get that behind us.
Incidentally, we did send a cleaning person there to clean up for the owner on Saturday, but there was some debris up there and things like that, and she asked to clean the leak. So I don't know quite what the status is of us cleaning it up yet.
Okay, all right, next item is to discuss the automatic pool and spa chemical feeders.
I probably have the update. Maybe I don't mean to cut you off. We're still waiting for the price for the new equipment, but we did talk to the owner of the equipment that he has decided to consider selling that equipment to us, which could be much more reasonable to buy. We know it's running, some of it's old, some of it might have to be replaced, but I'm awaiting both prices and then we can make a decision what we want to do. Because the equipment's great and it keeps our pools clean. Of course, Jackie's on top of it. He understands how it works and he makes repairs himself. So we may get a benefit of a price break if we decide to buy the existing equipment. Some of it's almost new, some of it's old. You know.
Okay, very good. We'll wait and see what that comes up with. We need to adopt the proposed 2023 budget. Everybody's gone over it, I'm assuming.
Okay, I move that we adopt the proposed operating and reserve budgets.
You want a second?
I'll second it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do we have questions about the budget?
Is there any discussion?
Yes. I'm just having one question.
Here, give it this.
I just have one question. Is the increase, or does the increase include anything additional for the coming year, or does it just cover what our increase is for this year?
I can address that. The insurance line item, which is the biggest thing in what you're questioning, anticipates the full increase of the 30% that they told us would happen. So actually, it gets a little confusing, maybe not, but maybe sometimes. Actually, with the fees you paid last year in your regular quarterly, you add the roughly $700 assessment that you paid for insurance to catch up. We're actually paying less this year by about $40 a unit. So although it looks more because you're paying more per quarter, you're not paying the special assessment. And so it is a reduction of about $40 a quarter, a year.
Okay, but now you got me confused. Does the amount that we're paying this year include anything for the coming years, or does it just cover what the increase is this year?
It covers the full payment of 2023.
And nothing
Nothing
for
for
2024?
2024. Well, unless if it comes in at 26% instead of 30%, there could be some money left. And if it comes in at 35%, we have it done. Because with the storms came in after the proposal of the insurance,
Right.
we still don't know what the rates are. But no, as you budget, you should, for operations, it should be just for the next fiscal year. So
Okay.
we're not building up anything for the future, that would be in reserve.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, maybe I didn't understand.
Maybe I wasn't clear.
Okay, Pam, you want to do a roll call? Anybody want to go?
Yep.
Tammy?
Tammy, was your hand up?
Yes.
I have a question. On grounds in 7023, we have trash removal. And then also 9515, we have more trash removal. Can you explain
Sure.
the two?
Yeah. We do not pay the county to pick up our vegetation, debris, everything you see the boys trim. And it's actually cheaper for us to have an outside contract. So that line item, trash removal on the grounds, is just for debris removal of cutting, trimming, and things of that nature. The 9520 or the 9510 is for the dumpsters and everything else.
Okay, one question,
Are we allowed to ask questions?
up to the mic.
Up here.
Come to the mic.
They can't hear you on Zoom unless you're talking to them.
I understand. Are we allowed to ask questions about the budget before you accept it?
Yes.
Where's the?
It's on. It's not close enough to you.
Okay.
You can pull it out of there.
Couple questions.
Pull it up. Just pull the mic up.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm gonna sit up. I have some questions about the increase in the cable TV and the increase on the salaries. On the cable TV, what is exactly the things that we are having paid for on cable TV?
Cable TV is a contract, it's a 7-year contract that was signed 4 years ago. It includes what they call the platinum coverage, and it includes internet.
Okay, does it include the receivers that are in each unit?
Each unit should have 2, that's correct.
Okay, my question is, could we reduce the cost by only paying for one receiver? Because there's a lot of people that leave and the receivers are just there. We don't put them on vacation, but we pay for them. You pay for them, which means we pay for them.
Larry, let me say this, the contract said, I tried to renegotiate the contract this year and get a reduction. They said they would only negotiate after 5 years, which this is the 5th year of the contract. The contract's set in stone for this year. We're going to try to negotiate some reduction next year. But right now, it's a bulk contract. You're paying about $64 a month. I, in a private home for the same service you have, pay about $180. So you're very competitive in what you got.
Well, I just thought, with people going away on vacation, before you paid for it.
Yeah, you pay for it. Yeah,
We just would put our unit on vacation mode and there would be no cable bill for us. So what I was just suggesting is if you just negotiate one receiver, I haven't used my second receiver in the bedroom for almost 2 years, but yet the condo association is paying for it, which means we are paying for it. I'm just asking if somebody wants a second receiver in the house, why can't we negotiate for them to pay for it?
Because the contract's in effect, we can't negotiate till next year.
I'm talking about doing that in the future.
Very good idea.
Okay. My second question is on the payroll for the employees. How many employees were we paying for in 2022?
This year we're paying for, our normal staff is 12, I'm in there, so 11. Right now we're working 11, we're working 9, but we anticipate having a full crew for next year.
So you're anticipating bringing in more people?
We're trying to find them. The landscaping is the hardest. We get a lot of people come in, I interview them, I talk to them, and as soon as I say, okay, go take the drug test, they don't see me. It's sad. But someone was giving me a good suggestion last week to check maybe some of the charities, maybe Catholic Charities or somebody might have something. The boys have been killing themselves, he's doing a heck of a job, and we are 1 man short. So we have a lead on one. We also have, as you know, our carpenter left, and I have a lead on a carpenter that is right now currently rebuilding his brother's house from the storm. Otherwise, he's been here already, but we'll be interviewing him probably in December.
Close the menu, Tom. There you go.
With the budget being increased from 118 to 131, what is the average percentage that you're increasing? Is it by performance for each individual, or is it a rounded number that everyone gets the same thing?
Each committee recommended a salary somewhat higher than ended up in the final budget. Each committee recommended that the employees receive a $2 an hour raise. The final budget cut went to $1.50 an hour, and that's what it is. Each employee is going to get $1.50 an hour increase.
How much is that in percentage? I know I worked at a bank with
Yeah.
30,000 employees.
Probably,
we had the budget 3%.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking that as a question.
This is between 7.5% and 8%.
But is it based on performance? Or is
Yes.
just everybody get it?
see what you get out there. Yes, it's based on performance and everybody gets it because we feel that all 9 of the employees right now work up to a very good standard.
I thought that's all we had on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I have a question on the trash removal. That's 2 times a week for 52 weeks?
Tuesday, Friday, yes. We're going to try to get a collection, a reduction in the 2 times they missed.
Well, I have a question. In the summertime, when we're not even half of us are here, can we just maybe do once a week?
No.
Throughout the summer months and then pick it back up in the fall?
You could attempt to do that, but it seems like it gets pretty busy and it gets fairly full, but the summertime aromas and things of that nature, if it's left to sit for a week in the heat, probably outweighs the cost.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I don't know, I live across from it, unless I have that smell.
Well,
It doesn't look like it all.
don't forget it's going twice though.
I know, I'm just trying to figure out how we can save a little bit of money.
We're looking at that, everything we can, Monica. I agree with you 100%. All of us have to.
I rolled the thing out for it once a week, and we can save money. And $800 a crack.
It costs $800 a month to have that to get out of the truck and pull out the dumpster.
I know.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we're ready for,
And I know Tammy said that she might consider doing it, but
any other discussion on the budget? Okay.
No, I'm gonna do this way. I don't like that. Okay. This is to adopt the proposed operating and reserve budgets. Cookie Finch. Roger?
Yes.
I said yes. Shannon?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Dick Picola?
Yes.
Danny Palmer?
Yes.
George Fisher?
Yes.
Monica Heigl?
Yes.
Claire Dewhurst?
Yes.
Tammy Alborn?
Yes.
Deb Harder? And John West.
Yes.
It's unanimous for those of us who are here.
Very good.
okay, we're going to process this immediately and hopefully we'll get coupons mailed out the first week of December. I'd like to say that we've an all-time high of automatic deductions and that's great for those people, especially for travel and things like that, we're almost pushing 200 people have it automatically deducted now, which is up from about 125.
Very good.
I have a question. Because there's going to be an increase, does that automatically, the bank already know that?
We tell them all about it. As a matter of fact, the bank is the one who prints the coupons.
But I don't get a coupon.
Well,
But they know.
But they know.
They know.
they know.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not going to be, I just want to make sure I'm paying them enough.
Okay, new business, communications.
Communications, Mr. Flood is here if he wishes to address this. We had an email from Davis, who resides in 225, requesting the board consider or reconsider covering of parked vehicles for extended period of time. It just so happens that someone parked directly in front of his unit with a covered vehicle and it's been there ever since these people have gone away. So Dave, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not.
Microphone.
Davis, you need to go to the microphone.
It would seem we'd have some type of, some type of accommodation for those who like to leave their vehicle here for the summertime, and not have it haphazardly anywhere in the parking lot. So that's one part of it. Another part of it is when cars are parked over, particularly over summertime, particularly heavy vehicles, it puts little dents in the asphalt. So it harms the asphalt. The one that's next to me, it's got the asphalt all squished in that spot. So there should be some regulations for parking. I'm not against them doing it, but there should be some guidelines that's acceptable to us for that, and that doesn't harm our property.
Okay, the building committee's been working on a new list of things to be done while people are gone for the summer, and I think that's something we should probably, in the next building committee meeting, we'll talk about that further. I agree that they should not park it in front of anybody else's place. That's unacceptable.
It is a rule that the board can develop without a vote of the owners. In other words, you could say, yes, you can do this, but it should be in a guest spot or not directly in front of somebody else's unit.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can handle it.
I agree.
We'll do something, and maybe we suggest that they have their condo watcher start and maybe move their vehicle a little bit.
If they're covered, you can't do that. Because I watch condos, I am not ripping that cover off to move this car. It's fine.
That's part of what you get paid for.
Yeah. Well, that's your problem. I'm a nice person.
We have a question here, Mike.
See, I'm short, I don't have to move it. So, talking about condo watchers, we had an issue where our upstairs people didn't know they had a problem because they were away, and there was something wrong with the sealant in the roof. So the roof was leaking, and then it went into theirs, and then we saw bubbling on ours. And that's what precipitated people looking, the staff, John Mercer, et cetera, and Jim, as to what's going on. So question is there, I since now have their key, but is there a rule that there has to be a condo watcher for every condo, and should there be, before that problem happens again to others?
There's no rule, but I agree that everybody who leaves their condo should, for their own benefit. I mean,
Absolutely.
can we?
We can certainly look into it. It would be, it would be something that's beneficial to everybody. Like you say, particularly the owner, but there's also the secondary owner that hurts it. Over the years, I've seen this plain disaster by people. I've also seen disasters in places that have condo watchers that weren't the way they should be included. But just because they have a condo watcher doesn't mean it's going to happen. But if they have the right one and they understand what they want, it does. It protects everybody. Sure, we can certainly look into it.
Okay. Maybe we can find out which ones don't, and then use our keys to go in and take a look at least.
Yeah, for security purposes, we can ask people to submit the names of who they have as their watchers. And unfortunately, sometimes it's the next door neighbor, and of course, the next door neighbor sometimes gets busy and goes away too, and things happen. So, yeah, be careful how you choose them.
Yeah, I wrote an article in a newsletter about that in particular, so hopefully some people will take that to heart and get a qualified person. That's it. All right. The audit next.
Okay, in front of you, you have the copy of the auditor's proposal. The board hired this firm about 4 years ago. It worked out very well. They do it in depth. They come in and spend an extended period of time going into the books of the association and make sure that proper protocols are followed. They have saved us money over the years because they're the ones that found a little niche about the fact that we pay health insurance for the employees, and that reduces our taxes, so we have to pay the tax in 5 years with fees to pay $500–600. Now, John and Barbara's little fund is going to generate some taxes because there are taxes on the interest earned on reserve funds. So it won't go away, but they've done an excellent job, so I recommend that you consider it.
Okay, thank you.
I would move that we hire this company to continue doing our annual audit. They have done a very well good job. The reports that they provide are very thorough.
I'll second.
George, second.
It was John.
John
It was John West.
John West, second. Discussion? Anybody opposed?
Easy that is.
Easy. Done deal.
Hang around me.
Yeah. Okay. As we do every year, the board does have to approve the annual holiday collection for our guys. You want to say anything, John?
No, other than if you don't approve it, I'm gonna give some money back to some people bringing it in already.
Yeah, I saw the box.
I think we should make it mandatory.
Mandatory. Just a joke, but I think.
Go ahead,
I'd like to hear John talk about what's the average giving and how do you see that?
I don't know how do I see what is given, or how do I think it goes?
I think having an idea about the average donation would be helpful.
It's hard to call. It really is hard to call. Some owners give $1,000. Some owners give $2. And they're all from their heart, I'm sure. The average seems to be somewhere about $50 to $75 an employee. But like I say, some less, some more.
And we did 8,000 last year?
No, last year there was, what was about 1,400 an employee. So we were up about 12,000, 14,000.
Very good. Thank you.
Might want to answer.
Yeah, when you donate, whether it's a check or whatever, we give it to them in cash, so they don't get taxed on it, which is really nice.
And they're wiser in the parking lot.
Yeah, and they in turn turn it over to their wives as soon as they get the car.
The guys don't want any $100 bills, they want a lot of singles for some reason.
Yeah, I had a birthday recently, and I had a lot of my friends give me a whole bunch of $1 bills. I'm still trying to spend them. Okay, but really keep in mind what the guys did for us after, and personally, I think I gave $100 last year. But, not everybody, like John says, some people don't give anything, some of us do nice.
Because it is a donation.
But anyways, that's all said and approved. Next thing, Mr. Haggerty, I need you to leave for a few minutes.
I shall return.
Yeah, we don't want to hear the fact that we hired a new person. All right, we need to approve his contract. The changes were made, as we all discussed in the meeting that we had about it. So, I guess I need somebody to make a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Need your microphone.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve John Hagerty's contract.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a 3-year contract.
3-year contract.
I second.
Second.
And seconds. All approved.
Can we have some discussion?
Discussion.
Oh, discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to see a copy of it. Is there a copy?
Well, we had a meeting.
Well, we had a meeting on it.
And we each looked at
There's a
the
copy on file. I have a copy here.
Okay. When was this meeting?
Last meeting.
week.
Tuesday.
What was the workshop?
Was it no?
No.
No, we had a special meeting.
I didn't get notice of it.
It was posted.
It was posted.
Posted in the mailbox.
All right,
Yes.
There's a copy in the office,
okay.
but I have one here, but, okay. If you want to read it afterwards here.
Not changed. Tell it's not changed.
It's not changed since his last contract, except for a few words we had changed.
Okay.
So, okay. All those approved? Unanimous. Okay. Approved.
Yoo-hoo, ciao.
Johnny, come back.
You're still employed.
Yeah, Shannon, you go ahead. You get the
We
wrong
approved
way.
that in the last board meeting. Where were you?
Yeah.
We approved it in the last board meeting.
I wasn't at that forecast.
What is the actual term? What 3 years does it cover?
Starts in January.
Starts January 1st.
Starting
This coming January.
the next 3 years.
Did he leave?
Oh, no, here he comes.
Went up for a drink.
He's back. Next one up.
I'm glad you came back. Next one up is you, management report.
Sorry, you have to work another year.
Thank you all, I appreciate it, thank you very much. I truly enjoy the time I've had here, and it's a pleasure to work with you all, thank you very much.
We enjoyed that.
Okay, manager's report. Portable water backflow device has been repaired and complete, and we sent the certification of the repair to the county. The cost was $1,550. Drywall repairs are ongoing in Unit 534, 532, 571. We also have to do work in 535. We take bids on all of these, and we always take the best bid that we get a hold of. 534, 32, and 71 are now complete. Cortez entry flower beds and all cluster flower entry beds have been planted. We're currently reviewing different processes for handling bookkeeping in the association. Some of the new processes possibly to save the association some money. It'd be up to the board to take a look at this, but we're starting to investigate possibly not discontinuing our bookkeeper because somebody says, well, why do I want to get rid of your bookkeeper? Well, they're not cheap, and depending on the new programs that are available, there could be a savings of up to $1,000 a month. But we would never want to do that without the board's fully understanding of what we propose. But it's like everything else that we do, we're trying to find the best, most economical way to proceed with the association's business. Myself and Maggie have attended a seminar for one program called TOPS. Barbara Carey and John West were involved in taking a look at it, but unfortunately the second seminar wasn't as understandable or didn't go into the depth that we saw in the first. But as Barbara said, she has 3 or 4 others we could look at. It may go to no end, it may go to some end, but here again, it's just an investigation process to see if we're doing the best for the best bang of the buck that you all have. Okay. Finally, there had been some questions, as long as we're talking about that, about how bills are paid and you know, what's the protocol, if you will, or the process. All bills are rendered, come to Maggie, and she date stamps them, and then gives them the brief of a review. We check the veracity of that. And then, of course, I stamp each bill, should it be paid or should it be challenged or what have you. And we process it to the bookkeeper. They write the checks. every check, there's not a check signed here that I know of in 12 years or 10 years that I've been here that hasn't had an invoice attached to it. So every check has an invoice attached to it, and then it goes to either the president, the vice president, or the treasurer for signature. And then after they sign it, I sign it as a co-signer. Reserve checks, which are usually in the thousands, manager doesn't sign at all. Again, an invoice is attached to the check and two board members sign. But that's the process. And that's one of the things the auditor does when he comes in. He checks, are there the receipts for the expenses and things of that nature. Just wanted to go over that because there have been some questions. Okay? And finally, there's been a really busy month. We had over 339 either work orders or requests that we processed since the last meeting. Everybody's coming back and everybody's got a little work for us. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, John. All right, committee reports.
The pool committee has identified a potentially dangerous situation. 2 different children under the age of 4 years old were seen standing on the gate door and being able to reach up and pull the plunger down and get into the pool. Yeah, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is dangerous. Yes, it is. The gate closures are per the statutes and Florida requirements, so we have the correct tools to use to open and close the gates. I further Googled to see if they were the best on the market, and they really are. Some of them are other things that are really lame. So the latches on our pool gates are what they're supposed to be. Secondly, it's posted inside the pool area that children are to be accompanied by an adult. So we are doing everything we can to make our pools the safest they can be. But I need everyone's help. If they see a child, running without their parent, help. The northern winter people and family members are coming down for vacations, and it's easy for children to get away from their parents. So we do have to keep a close eye so that no harm comes. They don't slip, trip, or fall, or trip into the pool and drown. I'm reaching out to each one of you to make this never occur in our pools. And it is an emotional thing. It hasn't happened, but it is a potential. Our next pool meeting will be December 6th at Pool 3 at 10 a.m. And at these pool meetings, these are some of the things that we discuss, or we find, or we look for, things that we can change to make things better, or change because they need changing. So all of you are welcome at any time. Thank you.
Claire had a question.
Are you considering doing anything about the plungers to make them safer? Is there anything we can do?
No, actually, they are the required plungers by the state of Florida. The only thing we could possibly do is raise them, unbolt them and raise them 4 inches. That might be enough so that children can't reach up and put their weight and pull them down. But in Googling it, I Googled every kind of word possible, trying to find different plungers or different openings other than spending a lot of money for keypads. But for right now, this is what the state of Florida requires. And we are doing everything we can to keep our pools safe.
I agree. There is a plunger that has to be pulled up.
Yes.
I know, I
Can't do
I started
that.
down Fort Myers getting into the hotel pool. I'd sit there pushing down on it.
Yeah.
Somebody says, oh, you gotta pull up.
Yeah.
We might think about that.
No, except for short people.
And if you make it short, complicated for people with arthritis, they're not gonna be able to get into the pool.
So there.
You can't reach that far. I'm not gonna do it.
Speaking down where he is.
There's a point to be made there. I know that I go to a place in Orlando where I'm also on board there, and their gates are tall and they pull up, and I guarantee you, Pam, you can get on somebody's shoes.
She would be the one standing on the gate.
I do it at the grocery store.
You just gotta tuck the steps to it with your bag, your pool bag.
Okay. IT committee.
One of the things that we noticed, which was, I think, a significant uptick in the number of visits through our website after Hurricane Ian, which I think showed that the people that were not on site were certainly interested on what things were going on. And we had put up bulletins that John had helped us write, put on the website, and again, we noticed a significant uptick in the days right after the hurricane. The committee has decided to purchase a TV to put in the office meeting room. It would facilitate something like we have here with the screen where we could put Zoom participants on the TV. Our next meeting, we are also been busy trying to just upgrade some of the materials we have on the website. Some of them are a little out of date, and we've been busy working on that. We also have, if anyone is interested, a hard copy of the directory. You have to print it, and it's 36 pages unless you have a double-sided printer. And it's out of date the day you get it. So, other than that, some people, my wife included, likes to have that paper copy of the directory. So that's something we'll have up there in the next couple of days. Our next meeting is Friday, December 7th, 10 o'clock.
If I may add also, Chris, I think I've been talking to Catherine Wolf, who seems to have been converting some documents that are going to be proposed, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's a tremendous thing. Most of our forms and I guess our documents themselves will be on a fill-out type of thing on the forms where you won't have to come in. If you wanted to change your windows or anything like that, you'll be able to go online and just fill out the documents there and bring them in. So I think we're stepping really into the present.
All right, very good. Landscaping, you want to?
Yeah, let's say quickly, Peter's wife is doing well, and they hope to be coming down after Christmas. And so he feels bad that he hasn't been able to attend any of the meetings, but as we said before, we've planted the flower boxes, we've done the cleanups. We're back to trimming. We actually went almost 5 weeks without trimming because of all the storms and the debris and everything like that. So even though you may get some bushes up, we're starting today. We finished. We started. Sometimes we started, Pine Needle and go down that way. This time we started in Oak and come around this way. So trimming is coming on, and hopefully everything will be fairly decent for Christmas. We'll try not to cut any of your pretty directions when we come, or decorations when we come around. Also, we've had some of the clusters asked us to turn the water off, the irrigation water, because they have several decorations there. They don't want to have damage, and it's kind of a catch-22 because the decorations look really nice, but everything kind of dries up because December's a dry month. So you may get a little bit of either, but those clusters that have asked us to turn off the irrigation be done so. Okay. Finally, I was talking to an owner today who doesn't have a chance to come very often, and noticed the trees we've lost in the storms, which number easily in the 100. And of course, we planted something like 50 this year, and it takes a long time for them to grow. But he said that he would like to start a fund to reforest the community. And he said that if we could get 100 people to donate $100, he'd donate $2,000 to the fund. So it's something that we may want to consider and knock around about, and really go after a major tree planting type of thing. I know that area behind Palm Tree, where the 7 big trees went down, we could almost build another building there. There's so much space in there now. Yeah. Anyway, so it's the people are really interested in coming forward and doing some positive things, which is nice.
Very good. We'll bring that up in the workshop next week. Building committee, that would be me. As I said earlier, we're currently working on a revised list for people who leave their units for an extended period of time. So we'll be working on that. Our meeting is next Wednesday, I believe. 30th. At 10 o'clock at the office, if you're welcome to come. Really, the biggest thing we were kicking around now is the fact that we need to have somebody qualified looking at your place. Not just somebody walking in the door and, oh yeah, looks good, and out they go. I've found, even in my unit, if I don't have damp rid in my 2 closets, my shoes will get mold on them after a while.
They do fall apart.
And that's because I never wear shoes. But it's true. I mean, even when you're there, your air conditioning's on and everything. So you got to know what to look for. And we have 2 guys who do it regularly here that work here that do a great job. They take pictures, they send pictures to you, and they really know what they're looking at. So keep that in mind. That's about the only thing working on right now. Taking a break.
We're going to add Davis's suggestion.
Yeah, we're going to work on the car thing. We'll talk about that in the building meeting. That's all I've got. Director's comments. Talk to this side.
Yeah, I have actually.
Let me give it to him, just the newsletter committee, because I know Barbara's not here. Just to say that we're getting a lot of compliments on the newsletter itself.
Yep.
And the generated income for ads, $550 goes into the general fund.
Wow.
So our cost is not near $100 on it, so it's a very, very, very good turnout.
Good.
You stole my thunder. No, I do have 2 others, so quickly. Whoever's been responsible for improving the speaker system, congratulations. I mean, we've struggled, I'm sure half the new folks out there, and since I'm one of the people who wear hearing aids, this is so much better. Thank you very much. I also had a question about the employee operation manual. I know we've been working on that. Are we getting close to putting that
I've
asleep?
made all the changes. I'm going to have a meeting very soon.
Okay, thank you.
No comment.
No comment.
Claire?
I'm good.
I'm good.
No. George? Tammy? Cookie speechless?
I saw that.
No.
That's not, nobody wants to talk. Well, the owner must need to talk. Other comments?
When you talked about the 2nd floor entry slab renovation,
You gotta be a little closer. There you go.
when you talked about the 2nd floor entry slab renovation, we just noticed that there's like lots of bad cracks / sagging in the upper,
That's the slab.
the slab above our condo, and where the columns meet, there's severe cracks.
Sinking.
Okay.
And it's sinking. All you need
Yeah.
is 637
That's one above it is on our next list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and, you're right to be concerned, but it's not gonna come down, but we hope that
Probably.
I was really gonna plan to do that one on the test with this new company that's been approved, so we'll probably be looking at it in a couple of days.
Did you say probably not going to come down?
Might want to use the back door.
But run fast.
Believe it or not, we've had issues where we had to put up supports.
Yeah.
That was not that bad.
Yes.
Any other owners?
Chris? Yeah, Chris?
Leslie wants to say something.
Talk to her.
Okay, go ahead, Leslie.
She's muted.
Unmute.
Unmute.
Okay. Yes, Claire, I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer to Dick Picola's question about the operations manual. Could you repeat it?
Yes, I've made all the changes and I'm going to be having a meeting very soon.
And you'll publish that meeting, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Me again. Couple things I've noticed coming into the condo association, into our own lots at night. There seems to be a light on one side. If you make a turn from the opposite side and you don't have cornering lights in your vehicle, you can't see if anybody's on the other side. And what I mean is, like, we're coming into Sherwood. There's a light. If I make a right turn, there's a light on the right side. Well, you can't really see anything on the other side if there's somebody walking a dog at night. Or the opposite way. When you come in and make a left turn into Sherwood, you've got a light over here, but there's no light on the opposite side. If you don't come exactly all the way to the other side, there could be somebody walking a dog not along the edge, but in the middle of the other side. You can't see anybody. And there's lights usually running along one side of our villas, but there's no lights on the opposite side. So there's dark spots all over the place where you can't see people walking. I almost hit a girl who was coming in at 10:30 at night when I was driving in, because I couldn't see her. She didn't have any colors on. She had no flashlight. She had nothing. So on the other side of Sherwood, when you come in going towards all the way to the end, there's no lights on that side. So you can't see anybody. So I'm just suggesting that we maybe, the building committee or somebody, take a look at how we can better light both sides of the areas. Okay? The second thing is, the parking structures are dirty on the inside.
Yes.
And your cars are always dirty, even though you're parking the car in here. The front of my car is dirtier than the back of my car. Why is that? Because there's so much debris in there. When they cut the grass, there's never anything blown out of that area or cleaned out of that area. So is there any way we can clean those garages, those parking structures?
We've had a very timely, Larry. We just had a meeting this morning about the lights that have bugs on them and things in the garages. And now we can get back to normal type of stuff. They need to be done, I agree.
And also on the entrance areas, and along the area where there's only lights on one side, like spring lights. When you drive down to Wildewood Springs, there's lights on our side, there's no lights on the other side. Is there anything that we can do to make it better?
They're not even over their debris. Not making fun, because you're right, it's dark at night. And, when I interview everybody, when we talk about that, we talk about walking in flashlights, we talk about wearing bright colors. We've had someone hit and hurt a few years ago, not right in the bushes. So, it's dark at night, there's no question about it. It's been that way since 1979. Does it make it right? No.
I know about that person that fell, because my dog realized that somebody fell in those bushes. Because she barked that someone was out there, and she found the person laying on the ground. And I asked you to put better lights in. And I think we've got to look at the nighttime area where there's lights and where there isn't lights.
I also think we need to have people slow down.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
That's very true.
Thank you.
Good points, thank you.
Any other comments?
say at night, the last 2 weeks, I've seen a couple coyotes in our property, so the people with dogs, people walking without flashlights, they need to be very careful. I mean, they were close too, so.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Palm tree and was across Oak View.
Okay.
And one went into the swimming, across the road into the swimming pool. I seen them twice, and then I seen another one over by Monica's the other
Because
night.
you have a dog.
Yeah, right. So I'm just saying that if you have a dog, be very careful. It could be a good thing to get rid of the raccoons and some of the squirrels. My second thing is people that have dogs over 25 pounds, there seem like a lot of them. Are they registered as a service dog with the office?
To my knowledge, every dog that's overweight is a registered dog with our office.
Okay.
I'm always interested though, if you see somebody walking a dog, you certainly can call me up. I never do anything but tell you whether it's registered or not.
I was just wondering, there's a lot, there seems like a lot of them.
I would say we have 15 to 20 easily.
There's more than that.
Well, could be.
You know, and those dogs you can also buy it off of Amazon, which doesn't mean anything. They could have like, yeah, they have.
We don't accept that type of, no, this has to be from a registered position.
Okay, yeah, okay, great. I mean, that sounds great to me. One other thing is when people go away, this is only a suggestion, when they go away for the summer, since we have the internet, you can have cameras all through your unit and on your thermostat. If you know, I check mine every day when I'm gone. I know if my air conditioner's running or if it's not. And I keep my air conditioner down at 75. I have no humidity in my, when I'm gone. Our electric bills aren't that high. That's all I have to say.
Very good. Thank you.
Good suggestions.
I have a question, and that's, you know, I've had a lot of people come and caution me about walking my dog with these coyotes around, but has anybody has anybody heard of dogs and people, combos, being attacked by coyotes?
No.
I don't think that's an issue, to be honest with you.
They go the other way.
I think, yes, exactly. And I think there's a lot of hubbub about these coyotes. Now, we're a wildlife sanctuary, so we're gonna have them. They're allowed to live with us. And I don't, you know, I hate to think of people being inherently fearful of them if they're not going to cause a problem. I know they can. We've had, you know, I've grown up next to coyotes up north, and they're a lot bigger than the ones we have down here.
If the dog gets away any area from you,
Yes.
the coyote will come and get it. I've
That's
seen
right.
it in California. People lost their pets and lost their dogs in California.
Right. That's
They
if they're
will
loose.
eat your dog.
If they're loose, and the dog should not be loose, and that I will grant you. If a dog is loose and running feral or just lost, it's free game for the coyotes. However, not with, and cats as well, not when there's people with them. All you have to do is make a loud noise and those coyotes will head tail.
I'm just saying be careful. That's
Right,
all I'm
yeah,
saying.
exactly. But like I said, I don't think it's fair. You know, I've heard of people throwing rocks at them and things like that, and I don't think that's fair because they're not a threat as long as you're not threatening them. And they're not, like I said, the loose dog is free game.
Don't feed them.
Can I make a comment? Last year in Lakewood Ranch, this lady let her dog out at 2 o'clock in the morning by the lanai, brought the dog back in, didn't close the lanai door behind her, and the coyote went right in after her, grabbed the dog, and took off with the dog. So basically what he's saying, be careful.
Right.
That's all we're saying. Be careful.
Those things don't happen, but in general.
Very good. Anybody else?
This isn't about coyotes.
Oh, shucks.
I just noticed that on our budget.
Hold it up, close to your mouth.
Oh, real close. That I noticed on the budget that there's a kayak rack fee of
$400 in the income section, whereas in the expense section, there's 0 expense. I wondered if we couldn't do away with the fee for the kayaks. I know I paid $100 initially, and why should we have a fee when we're not, don't have any expense?
The initial fee was because we had to build them, and for the first couple of years, we were out of pocket until the money's caught up. So this is like the first year we were generating income without expense. If anybody wants more, then we have to build again, and it'll take that money away, but the board, that's the board's decision, just to let you know where it comes from.
All right. Well, I mean, we spend a lot of money on tennis and pickleball, and it seems that the kayak people aren't getting a fair deal here. And being one of the kayak people, I object.
Come
on up. Hold it out, he's coming up.
Hold it out, Al.
There's somebody.
Oh, no.
I'm a little confused because I am one of the kayak people. And last year when I went to the office, I mentioned that we hadn't been billed, and I was told no. And we haven't been billed this year either, so I appreciate what Alan is saying, but I haven't received anything.
Now you will.
No, but because I agree with them. Once they were built, there is no further expense, and that was one of the concessions that we made when we asked to have the kayak racks built. And it's been my thinking the last year or so that we're at the stage where the fees probably should be waived. And with the proposed, or with the caveat that, as mentioned, if they have to be rebuilt, repaired, or whatever, absolutely. Then I have no problem with being reassessed to bring them up to speed. Or if we have to have more kayaks racks built, there's already a built-in caveat where the new owners have to pay their $100 to have them built. So there's really no expense to the association at this point. So if the fees are waived, I don't see that it's going to hurt the association at cost at all. If it gets to the point where it needs to be repaired or whatever, okay. As I say, my confusion is though that I haven't been billed.
We will certainly check into that number. Well, but we can put it on the next workshop.
Yeah.
Figuring the number.
We'll get that one right over. You're about to get billed. You got a credit card?
Cash on. I asked last year and I was told, don't worry about it.
Okay, before we adjourn, December workshop will be on the 13th. And the board meeting will be on Monday the 19th. Good.
Will that be here again, Doug?
Yes.
Well, I don't know where most people down here learn how to drive, but when you try to pull out the Cortez coming off the boulevard, they stay right in the middle.
I know, right?
I know.
You need a line.
It's there.
I'm with you.
It's there.
I mean, I know it's trivial, but.
No, it's not. Not if you want to make a right turn and you're going to make a left turn right in the middle.
They stay right here.
Yeah.
Okay, who did everything on there?
It's the same ones that make U-turns there. That's not supposed to be made.
And the, yeah, you're right, the turns.
Absolutely. Okay. Anybody else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, makes a motion. Second? Dan? Okay.
Recording stopped.
So adjourned. Thank you.